Next week, we're getting the sequel to Stephen King's It and a handful of films that could be Oscar bait. This week, we run out the clock on those indie films that have made their way from festival to festival and town to town. In Before You Know It, a group of recognizable faces play supporting roles in the story of two sisters who discover their mother didn't die, as their quirky father had told them, but was actually working in a soap opera.
Well, we're not going to get another shot in, so that's lunch.
The story takes far too many turns for its own good, but it's clear actors like Mandy Patinkin, Judith Light, and Alec Baldwin are more than game for hamming it up. Before You Know It isn't a keeper, but it is one of those first projects that could give director Hannah Pearl Utt a shot at something bigger.
It's starting to feel like everyone's lives are going places, and mine's sort of stuck.
Hold it, please. Try not to leave all your stuff in the hallway. That'd be the third time this month. Change is possible.
In Brittany Runs a Marathon, actress Jillian Bell gets a similar launch. Long a scene stealer in other comedies, she takes center stage here as a snarky New Yorker who decides to change her life by training for a marathon. Because she's overweight, lonely, and unhappy, she listens to a doctor's order and begins a self-improvement program that starts with one foot in front of another.
I'm really good at making profiles. God, woman.
It's not that bad.
I'm just gonna give you mine, okay?
Do you know how to spell herpes?
Director Paul Downs Colazo takes full advantage of Belle's ability to find humor in unlikely places and gives her a lot of support during those early scenes. When the action shifts to marathon training, Brittany finds a different pace, one that doesn't match the first half. The actual marathon brings its own challenges and an attitude adjustment that doesn't really fit with the Brittany who lures us in. Thankfully, Jillian Bell shines throughout, letting us see just how difficult it is to make a change and run a marathon.
There's sheep in this world, and there are wolves in this world. And I know that you two boys are just two weary travelers who lost your way.
Now, the last film you might encounter on your indie run is The Peanut Butter Falcon, a charming look at a young man with Down syndrome who realizes his dream to become a professional wrestler. Before he gets there, however, the dreamer, played by newcomer Zach Gottsigan, has to escape from a nursing home, befriend a drifter, and build a raft. Then when he gets to his idol, played by Thomas Hayden Church, he has to convince him he's ready to learn how to wrestle. More than a hat tip to the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the Peanut Butter Falcon drifts several times before it settles down and embraces its story of friendship. Most of all, it gets Shia LaBeouf a chance to prove just how good he is in roles that don't involve Transformers. He's a drifter who's running away from authority but willing to confront responsibility. With Dakota Johnson, who plays a nursing home volunteer, he's a good influence on the young dreamer and quite likely the reason to see this film. Now, while most of these will be on video sooner than you can write down their names, they're proof everything doesn't need to be a blockbuster. Sometimes a good film just needs an interesting idea. With your Movies in a Minute, I'm Bruce Miller.